I always thought I understood crime. You steal something? Crime. You hurt someone? Crime. You park in front of your own house? Apparently, straight to jail. I found this out on a peaceful Tuesday evening when I came home from work. Tired, hungry, dreaming about leftovers that may or may not still be edible. I pulled up, and there it was, an open spot, right in front of my mailbox, in front of my lawn, in front of my house. Perfect. I parked, turned off the engine, exhaled. I had no idea I had just committed a felony in Karen law, because across the street, behind slightly twitching blinds, evil was charging. The moment I opened my car door, I heard it. That fast, angry walk-in sound, like someone rushing to return soup. I looked up. Karen, phone in hand, expression set to customer escalation. She stopped dramatically near my bumper and delivered the line like we were in court. You can't park there. Not hello. Not good evening. Straight to tyranny. I looked around, just to be sure I hadn't accidentally parked on a runway. I said, this is my house. She inhaled like she was preparing to announce a natural disaster. That is not the point, she declared, which is HOA language for, that is exactly the point, but I refuse to accept it. I asked politely, what seems to be the problem? And she hit me with it. One long dramatic missile of nonsense. She yelled, when you park there, it disrupts the visual symmetry of the street, blocks my emotional sightline, and lowers the neighborhood prestige. Your Honor, my Honda Civic has ruined her feelings. I blinked. I live here. But she raised a finger like a movie villain delivering prophecy. She said, home ownership does not grant you the right to chaos. Chaos. I parked. I didn't release raccoons. I tried to end it. I'll move it later if it's bothering you. Reasonable, adult, peace offering. But Karen wasn't here for peace. She leaned closer and whispered the 4 words every HOA resident fears. Then I'll call the police. I laughed. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. Because in my brain, I imagined the phone call. Hello, officer. Yes, a man has parked near his own property. Please bring backup. But she wasn't joking. She was Daya. She turned slightly so I could hear every word. She announced dramatically, this man has created a parking hazard and is refusing community compliance. Refusing? I offered to move. But in Karen court, offering solutions is aggression. I stood there thinking, do I move the car now? Or do I let this play out because it might be the funniest thing I ever witness? I chose entertainment. You know how in movies when something explodes and suddenly people appear on balconies? Yeah. Doors opened. Heads popped out. Phones recording. Tom from next door whispered, is she calling the cops? Again? Again. Fantastic. I gave him a tiny nod. He gave me the look of a man watching a live documentary. The patrol car arrived. The officer stepped out. Calm. Professional. Unaware he had been summoned for premium nonsense. Karen sprinted toward him like she had personally captured a fugitive. She said, Officer, I am under parking oppression. Oppression from my Honda Civic. He looked at her, then at my house, then at me, then back at her. I watched understanding leave his body. He asked gently, Sir, do you live here? Yes. He nodded. Is this your vehicle? Yes. He turned to Karen. Ma'am? But she wasn't done. He is destroying order, she insisted. The officer blinked. By parking. She crossed her arms. Yes. Now she was committed. No turning back. She delivered the longest, most dramatic one-liner of the evening. She said, if residents begin parking wherever they please, we descend into driveway anarchy. Driveway. Anarchy. Netflix, call her. The officer rubbed his forehead. Sir, you're allowed to park here. I nodded. Karen looked betrayed. Are you refusing to enforce the law? She demanded. And that's when I saw it, the moment he regretted his career choice. The officer tried one last time to exit the nightmare. He said carefully, Ma'am, there is no violation here. But Karen inhaled like she was about to sing the national anthem of delusion. If you refuse to act, then I will escalate this to people who respect civilization. Civilization. We were discussing asphalt. The officer gave me a look that said, I am so sorry you live here. He left. Free man. I, however, remained in the documentary. Karen stepped closer, too close. Theatrical whisper activated. This neighborhood will not forget what you've done. I looked at my car. It sat there, menacingly parked. I replied, I live here, Karen. She nodded like I had confessed. Exactly. And she walked away. Villain exit. Season finale energy. 2 days later, the HOA mailed me a love letter. Violation notice. Improper street parking. Failure to maintain visual harmony. Possible obstruction of community flow. Flow of what? Parade of ghosts? Then came the fine. $300. For parking in front of my own house. I laughed so hard I had to sit down. My wife looked at it and asked, Are they serious? I said, Oh, deadly. Tom appeared again. Neighborhood war correspondent. He whispered, She pushed them. She wants you crushed. Crushed. Over parking. Incredible. I told him, well, then we're going to the hearing. I printed maps, street diagrams, city parking regulations, and HOA bylaws. If Karen brought drama, I was bringing paperwork. My wife asked, Please tell me you'll stay calm. I will, I promised. I lied. The clubhouse looked intense, board members seated like judges of a very boring apocalypse. Karen sat in front, smiling, radiating pre-victory. The president began. We are here regarding repeated parking disruption. Disruption. I parked once, but okay. Karen raised her hand like Hermione with a vendetta. She stood and delivered a masterpiece. She proclaimed, This resident has demonstrated a pattern of vehicular dominance intended to destabilize the streetscape. Vehicular dominance. I drive a 4-cylinder. She continued. He ignored police authority. The officer literally sided with me. But facts are optional in Karen cinema. I stood slowly, placed the city regulation on the table, and dropped the nuke. IREA's public streets are legal parking unless otherwise posted. Silence. I slid photos forward. No signs, no restrictions, nothing. I finished calmly. So I parked in front of my own house on a public road, legally. One board member whispered, Oh, she panicked. Emergency drama protocol, she snapped. Legal is not the same as appropriate. Moving the goalposts, Olympic level. But the president looked tired, very tired. The president cleared his throat. He calmly said, The HOA cannot fine residents for legal street parking. Boom. I felt peace. Karen did not. She stood so fast, her chair screamed. Then why do we even have rules? She shouted. Nobody answered, because nobody knew. She pointed at me. He'll do it again, I smiled. Yes. The president said, The fine is dismissed, and please do not call police for personal disputes. Direct hit. Karen's brain went down. Outside, she passed me, whispered her favorite line. This isn't over. I gave her my favorite answer. It absolutely can be. I went home, parked in the same spot, turned off the engine, and waited. Nothing happened. No sirens, no speeches, just quiet victory. And that's how I committed the unforgivable crime of parking in front of my own house. If you enjoyed the madness, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because in this neighborhood, the next emergency is always one Karen away.